Someone who has been doing well in the Nomadic Clash is Luciferon. We just saw him annihilate Beastie in that final game. Looked clean. How clean could he be against a slippery sausage man? Someone who thrives in the chaos, who bathes in the MegaRandom. We've got Salami clashing up against Luciferon. And I better reset those scores. They are most definitely not one apiece. Words are hard. You have to earn that score. So we got a 0 and a 0. You know, one thing I just thought of is actually in this early game, when you've got the peace timer on, there's nothing to stop someone from aggroing a boar and killing you off. Oh my god. Ah, we haven't seen it so far. I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest. I think we need a special map with a lot more boars. Can I get a custom map for a tournament that has 20 boars on it, please? We'll call it minefields. Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, just to remind people of how this works in Nomadic Clash. First 3 minutes is peacetime. No war. Doesn't mean you can't prep for war, though. You can just station yourself right up someone's butt, ready to stick your foot in it if you want to. Looks like Salami isn't going to do that. I thought he was heading for it, but he notices one person here. He says, no. Bad idea. Backs away entirely. Guess someone a little bit more defensive. Has got deer on spawn, though. Not too bad. Meanwhile, Luciferon, closer approach to the water side and a big fat tree line. Fairness, like, Salami's position isn't too bad. And so look at his gold. Because I just want to remind people, the guy in the blue here is playing the Malians. Ravenholm, who's Salami. And if you look at the gold, you don't want to look at the gold. You can at least set up pit mines, but let's say he gets to a point where it's Farimba play. Where do you safely gather that isn't a hot spot of contention? I guess we'll have to see. Many people asked if the ball was banned or not. Well, what was the verdict, Merlin? I assume it was allowed because, you know, just because the players agreed to a treaty doesn't mean wildlife does, right? You know, like in ancient Roman times, and we're like, well, we and Carthage, like, let's have a peacetime. We won't kill each other. And like, great peace talk. And you go home on your ship, and you get attacked by a killer whale, and you die. Like, what the hell, bro? Carthage, why did the whale attack me? Dude, bro, what did you want us to do? Same thing. Yeah, exactly. It should definitely be allowed. My example would definitely have historically happened. I'm glad it would be allowed, though. That's brilliant. I mean, in fairness, right, the logic for me is if someone builds a TC next to a boar, and you come in and aggro a boar, they're just getting punished for being greedy POSs, right? Like, they built right next to a boar. They knew what was going to happen. They should have known what was going to happen. But we don't have to worry about boar antics in this game. Pumbas are going to be chilling north side. I don't even expect them to be eaten this time around. It's a bit gamey after all. But different type of game is being hunted here. As we talked about this opening on the deer. Not bad. It means that you don't necessarily need to rush out your scout and get that many sheep. Wood is a little bit to the south, but not too far that you should be worried. Lucy went for a very tight format. So you can see his focus is max on wood. Get as much going on the fishing side. Probably look to set up maybe an archer range or two as a possibility. I think more likely from Luciferon, especially considering his playstyle, is just instantly into stables. Especially considering you're up against the Malians. So if you build archers, you just encourage this javelin thrower comp, which naturally a Malian player will want to go towards anyway because of the way the javelin thrower damage scales. Javelin throwers are incredibly effective in mass at dealing with knights and men-at-arms, right? Because so much damage goes through as their base damage ends up at 8 going up to 10. So if we put it at the 8 value, at that stage, up against a knight, I believe it's over half your damage is going through because I think early feudal knights start at 3 ranged armor and you can get them up to 4. So let's say both sides upgrade, you know, even in feudal age, over 50% of your damage as a Malian javelin thrower is going through the armor of a knight. Interesting play by good old Salami here. I think he's misread this map for Confluence. This is like a Barbican play, but in the future when we have Malians. It does mean long-term he gets more of the river, but not really as much as you'd think, to be honest. I think this river format, like, is long enough that it shouldn't really matter when you also consider there's, like, deer stacks behind this. There's options, basically, for Lucy. Maybe the plan is to go trade? It could be that that's the intent for Salami, but it's dangerous to play this area. More likely you want to play here, like what, up to maybe here? But you're still playing into a no man's area, so even from like a benefit of trading perspective, this Saharan trade network doesn't make sense. It's more about access to a fat gold vein and then covering the crossing that the extra fishing boats will try to come through. But I don't think Lucy cares about that. In fact, actually, looking at the way he's laid his base, this is a fast castle build. He sets up the fortified walls. He just keeps fishing behind it. And he's built, like, what, 1 stables? Yeah, this could easily be a fast castle. I think Lucy builds, like, 2 knights and then rushes Castle Age. 2 knights will be enough to kind of, like, probe away at the Malians. In fact, now that he's seen the Farimba, he might just cancel production and go straight for it. I say that, he actually continues to build the knights. In fairness, building knights as you plan to go castle isn't too bad, right? Because you can upgrade these. You will upgrade these. And you can see it's his intent, right? He doesn't want to take a main fight. There's just a little bit of raiding potential because he's setting up the walls forward of his base. And immediately, the opener from Salami is going to be to go to the Donzos. Understandable when you're up against the Knights. Likely he follows this up with the Javelin Throwers. The cool thing about Donzo plus Javelin against Mass Knights is they can never get in and they slowly die. Right? The Javelins are an obvious one, but even the Donzos, you have to remember they have those Javelins that they can throw. Wall-up attempt is going to be a fail from Lucy, so has to back away. Luciferon has got the counter coming out, though. It's going to be an archer ship. Should whittle away at the Donzos, give him a little bit of space. You can set up a back wall here if he needs to. Now, a little bit of a problematic element here. You might notice these galleys are going to counter the Javelin Throwers. 6.5 range compared to 5. So if you have to play near the riverside, you're losing a Salami. It's actually a really bad situation to be in. You're about to see it from the Javelins that I was talking about. 6 tower range. Actually problematic. I think, honestly, for Salami at this stage, just set up all your pit mines. Mass troops, but don't try to raid too deep. Probably try to set up a forward base area, right? Or maybe like set up for a chop through situation. You just want to, if you're going to raid, you need to be straight onto the villager eco. Because I don't actually think you get any access to the water side because of these fishing boats and archer ships now. You're saying no water from Salami? I mean, he doesn't want water, right? You're playing Malians and you built Farimba. So you actually have no use for more food. Because your only interest is to maximize Farimba garrison production. And until you exceed that, right, until you're able to constantly produce out of a Farimba garrison, there is no logic behind getting additional food. Sure, it makes you one-dimensional in that you can't build sofas and whatever, but in terms of resource efficiency, it makes a lot of sense because you're getting a 20% discount from Farimba production. Also, another cool detail to think about here, even when you think you've reached threshold with Farimba garrison production, you can then drop a blacksmiths and get your hands on Military Academy, which means you've unlocked a new tier of maximum production rate out of a Farimba garrison. Nice raid into the base there from Lucy, though. And a return raid. Looks like Salami did go, and he went for the chop like we talked about. So villagers are going to be forced to run away, but I mean, you're diving underneath double arrow fire here. And yes, oh man, I love this out of Lucy. He got the fort upgrade. I always forget his name. Castle Fortress. Basically, it's the upgrade that with each arrow fired, you do +2 damage. It's quite cheap as well. That's why so many of these units died on the dive. I can't believe I've forgotten his name. It's something Fortress, I think. Castle something. But it's really cool because what you're doing is you're essentially, when you fully garrison Wooden Fortress, you're adding 16 damage. +2 range? No, I'm pretty sure it's... Did I misread it the whole time? I'm going to double check. Maybe have I actually been misreading it the whole time? I don't think so. Castle Turret is what it's called. There we go. No, it's extra 2 damage. Okay, there you go. Don't make me doubt myself. Castle Turret. Thank you. No, it's an extra 2 damage. You may be getting confused with the extra sight range of Castle Watch, Merlin. So for those who are wondering, I'm talking about Castle Turret, which it's very cheap as well, actually. It's not that expensive a tech. It costs, I think it's 75 stone. Very low price to pay. And the alternative, if you want to do the same damage, you need to get balanced projectiles, which is 350, after having got the first range upgrade. Which doesn't really make a lot of sense if you're going Mass Knights. You don't want to have to get double ranged upgrade. There is some validity behind that still, though, if you consider you're building archer ships. But it gets discounted by the fact that the Malian player isn't playing near the water side, so you have no use for it. So instead, it's just more cost efficient to build 2 wooden fortresses and get castle turret upgrade. Oh man, look, Lucy's found what he's looking for. Now, the Donzos are here to defend, so he won't be able to get a free raid in. But he now knows where these villages are. He knows where the gold is being milked from for the Malians. And if you cut this off, you shut them down. In fact, Malian player looks pretty shut down, right? Salami has 10 Donzos to his name. Oh, Mr. Merlin says, all that whole time I thought that the upgrade gave extra range. Well, to be fair, bud, one of us was going to be wrong in this situation. Fortunately, for once, it wasn't me. No, but honestly, I think the castle turrets doing extra damage is just better. The whole point is that it's a super powerful anti-dive tool, because against heavily armored units, it's like, I'm not going to say it's as good as, you know, the gun emplacements and Chinese outposts, but it's like not far off at that point when you fully garrison, because you're actually increasing the base damage, so it's kind of more efficient than increasing range. Because if someone's diving, they're going to be in range for you, right? Like it's incredibly efficient. Like, people slept on castle turrets for a very, very long time. Glad to say that's not the case anymore. Looks like Luciferon's a little bit worried about these relics being gathered up, as he should be. Salami's already banked 1. So nice idea to try and block even more gold coming, but realistically, for Luciferon, he needs to find a way of shutting down the primary gold source, which is, of course, the miners. Right now, there's a little bit of paranoia about it, right? If he runs across the map like this, he could mistime it. He could get scouted out on the march across. Instead, look at this. The Donzo's moved away. Oh, my 8 villages are stuck here. Luciferon's timing here was perfect. And it's because this fishing boat saw the Donzos moving. So we'll move in. A lot of idle time achieved here. That's going to slow down the Farimba garrison production, and that's going to allow him to boost up his military lead here. Very important. Because right now, Salami's in this awkward situation where he has to keep defending on his gold vein and defend at home. And he's starting to lose out on military number here. Archers will away the Donzos. There's not many Donzos here, in fact. That's a lot of javelin throwers. Premium units that can actually easily be eviscerated. The Ram's going to take out the temple to stop that gold coming in. Nice play into the choke point coming out from Salami to try and slow down the damage done by the Knights, but he gets the wrap and Lucy will get the wipe. Army is being reduced to practically 0 at this point. This dive, it's going to have a second wave coming behind it, no doubt about it. Knights did have to shift around. The mill did slow them down, but I mean, the problem I see here is Salami's base is inactive now. He's still got the gold away from home, but Farimba garrison production is going to be slow. And the Rams and Archers are going nowhere. This is problematic. Salami made a good effort to wiggle back into this, but you never felt that point was reached where the Malians became unstoppable, right? We've never seen that moment in this game where he reached Zerg point. He tried for that dive. It seemed good, but credit where credit is most definitely due to Luciferon. The castle turret upgrade tore him a new one. Because if there's one weakness when you go for these Malian dives, all your units lack ranged armor. So it's essentially just a +2 damage per arrow fired, as you have no ranged armor really to speak of on your front line. Your javelin throws, although they have a little bit of resistance, it just doesn't really cut it. Remember that you never built a blacksmith as the Malian player either, so you never had an opportunity to get more ranged armor, which right now I think he's regretting. Because Luciferon is going in for the kill. Quadruple ram. All right, I'm going to make a prediction. If this Farimba garrison falls, the game is instantly GG'd. Wow, what an innovative prediction, Pigeon. You took a real big gamble with that. Okay, I know. It's very obvious. But this Farimba garrison's probably going to die before he even gets the new javelin throwers out. Oh, and you can see Salami, tricky sausage man, not today. Luciferon takes out the Wallow boy. He's a Wallow king himself. Salami, without Farimba garrison to play around, sure we get the one last wave of javelin throwers out. But losing the Farimba honestly feels like losing a House of Wisdom as the Abbasses. Actually feels worse. There's no way in hell he can hold anymore. He's got 0 military production behind this. He has no one on food. And the only way he can produce is with mass gold. So he'll call GG. But everyone makes mistakes. You know, my parents remind me regularly that I was a mistake. Okay, I'm going to stop now. Let's move on to game number 2 between Luciferon and Salami as we hop into a nice, different-looking map. They've gone for the octagon format of MegaRandom here, which, of course, is where the mountains spawn on the sides. Just a reminder to people as I update the scores. It ain't 0-0, all right? Someone's heading to 0 and someone's a hero. Luciferon has taken an early lead. And my, oh my, what a matchup to find yourself in. English versus Delhi. On a random format like this, I'd say usually you kind of lean for the English here. There's not many openings that Delhi can do that don't feel buffered away, right? Like if you go mass archers, they'll go lombos. If you go into horsemen, they can counter with the hard spears immediately. Very hard to dive the base. Comes down to Sacred Sign. Oh my god! Salami's back up against the wall. He plays his signature Civ. His signature Civ has arrived in the Bermuda Triangle of sacred sites. But the dumb part is that 3 sacred sites is not enough to get a timer. There's a 4th one on the west side. That being said, though, this would still be 450 gold per minute for Salami. That being said, though, because this is an important detail, the English player is close enough that he might even pull villages. Even if he doesn't, he can build lombos and immediately be in range to kill someone on the sacred site. So don't be deceived and be like, ha, free game. Delhi got this. Salami, big sausage man, whoop, whoop. It's not that simple. He has at least got fishing to buffer him, but his position means he only has wood on land. Meanwhile, look at Luciferon. He got the deer. This is going to boost him very quickly into feudal age, especially more so when you consider that the Delhi player has built a dock, could very easily be going fishing boats. This will slow down his tech timing in comparison. Not only that, I do also have to highlight, that's a lot of injured villagers. Some of them so heavily injured, it feels like textiles won't even do much to save you. Why is that important at this early phase? If the lombos wiggle their way in, whoopsie daisy, he's been quite the pickle. I'm actually going to make a prediction that this one area here is going to get Salami killed. So even primary TCs don't see into Stealth Forest. This is the vision for Salami. Anytime he moves the scout away like he's doing now is a golden opportunity for his opponent to move in with lombos and snipe him. So if you look at it from Lucy's perspective, if he has his scout in this area outside TC range, he'll see the villagers, he'll park longbows here, and he's in range to kill you. Oh man, that's rough. I believe I did just also see Salami go in for the manuscript, which allows him to garrison his scholars and have them impact the docks, right? It's a cool idea. So yeah, you can see how it works there. It's basically, you do the Wi-Fi mosque. You drop a mosque here, you increase the production rate for fishing boats. I honestly think this is kind of a tricky debated situation though, because you're only doing it for shoreline fish. So you're essentially, like, with 3 scholars, right, you're using an extra, like, you're producing 60% faster, but you're not gathering wood any quicker, right? I don't know. This could genuinely backfire really fast. We'll see how it works out for him. Gold access for Lucy was a little bit delayed, but make no mistake about it. That faster fuel age timing is most definitely coming. And folks, you can just look at the times. It's a substantial lead, actually. Bit worrisome. Is it a tune? I swear that's just reminding me of the Cyberpunk, the TV show. They always use this term, tune. God, so far away as well. Oh man, this is like this feels like one of those classic examples of something that looks too good to be true. And you start to unravel all the issues of Salami's choice of TC placement, right? He only got wood here. His gold's really far away. His fishing eco is kind of close, but you know, what to do? No deep water fish to speak of here. No land food source as an alternative. I see a lot of potential weak points in Salami's base format. The only upside he has is most of these weak points are on the opposite side of his base, which is usually problematic for an English player because English lombos don't move fast. So the last thing they want to do is move to the other side of your base, further away from their own, because getting reinforcements becomes difficult. and which is really important because Lombos, the things you're usually trying to reinforce, are expensive. They're 90 resources each. But as we already highlighted, you know, if I'm Luciferon, which I'm not quite that good at RTSs, I'm afraid. No, you don't say. I just move in here with 2 or 3 Lombos and I start poking. Interesting, going for racks. Might be that he's anticipating Horsemen from Salami, which makes a lot of sense. If you see that Salami's fishing, he's probably looking at a food-heavy lineup. Horseman would be the logical choice there. It's the most food-expensive unit you can build at this stage of the game. Being said, I mean, Salami still needs that feudal age. Meanwhile, Luciferon's already got his. Look at the wood he's got as well. Immediately into the Lombos. Queues up 3 of them. So the Brax is more or less him just saying, I now have this to react if need be. Might be that he builds 1 or 2 men-at-arms here. It's not actually a bad play. The archers, they're wrapping around. We talked about this wood line, this exposure point. The scout sees everything. In fact, he can even hide, in the stealth forest and then shoot over. So, moving in. Villagers being sniped. No textiles either coming out from Salami. And I think he realizes just how bad this is now. I don't know. I think he did scout this out, right? So he knew that Luciferon was somewhat close, but maybe he didn't expect him to be this close. And the scout, the crazy part, actually, the scout could walk here and walk into the stealth forest. He'd see all the way into the tree line, and he wouldn't be exposed. But you don't even need him to do that yet, because Salami's not even deep enough to hide. And he finds the Dome of Faith! Okay, he has got the fishing boats to defend. And Luciferon apparently forgot about that. You'll be reminded that this is still a thing. Rarely has it ever made a difference, but that may have just saved Salami's game. Far from out of the woods, but he at least gets to explore the forest. That's the important detail here. Scout vision. Oh, no, this is a big deal. This is actually a big deal. Losing the vision in this area, the only way you could see in the stealth forest was the scout. So now, all of this is the domain of the English. Luciferon has all of a sudden activated Robin Hood mode as he's going into Sherwood Forest. And his men look very merry, I've got to say. Now, this time when Luciferon comes back, he's not going to run in range of the fishing boats. Instead, he can kill the fishing boats. It's a big problem you have when you go for shoreline fishing against the English. Even if you're building archer ships, they get outranged by Lombos. You're definitely going to remain outranged here. Fishing boats. We'll have to back away. Second wave of Lombos can be prepped for north side. Straggler trees in the meantime for Salami. That's all he can get. Likely Luciferon's going to mass up to 10 Lombos on the south side. That'll be enough to quickly annihilate these fishing boats. That stage, it's free burst and they're gone. Even if they're being healed. Wouldn't mind even seeing a villager pull. Just set up an outpost here and get the attack speed aura as well. Lombos, man, so well played by Lucy. We'll lose 1 Lombo for it, but idle time, another villager down. Eco lead of 4 already for Luciferon. It's really more than that if you think about it. All right, so one side's got 26 villagers, one's got 22. Oh, wait, what am I about? Fishing. Ah, that's right. Remember, fishing boats get counted as military for Delhi. I always forget that one. Yes, it's weird, but that's how it works. Because they have an attack, if something has an attack value, it gets classified as military. So when you see this military pop cap right now, what I want you all to realize is that actually Salami has not a single real military unit. Finally, that changes, though. Bagler can be useful, but can still be whittled at, right? This is what we're talking about. 6 tile range versus the 7. Villagers have an attack. That's true, Merlin. But it's, well, okay, to be more accurate, like, it's, I don't know how to describe it otherwise. It's just a weird way that they've coded it because, like, it's not even the worker value plus the ship value because other fishing boats have worker and ship and they don't classify as military. It's something about the way they tagged fishing boats with how they attack that makes them show up as military. I don't know why, but it's weird. Also, yes, my whole, like, anything that has an attack shows up military doesn't fully hold, but yes. Just think Delhi, fishing boats, military, never eco. So really, Salami is actually at 32 eco. Oh, man. Honestly, I think Salami is just wasting resources. He has no choice, right? He can't build anything but boats. Now, Lucy is jumping the gun a bit with the Lombo harass. He could probably wait until he's up to 15 on the front line, and then he wins this outright. He's impatient. He wants to get in for good reason. Outpost sneak, by the way, can go deeper. If you are the English player in the situation, I don't think he actually realizes how deep he can get. A lot of people forget how narrow, or how shallow, rather, TC range is into Stealth Forests. He could actually drop an outpost right here and snipe villages if he wanted to, and it wouldn't be noticed until it's complete. He doesn't need that. The Lombos have access. Bagler went down. Marine Lord saying, I really don't get Salami's plan. Yeah, now I didn't check this part out. Like, he's just trying to survive. I legit think at this stage he doesn't... I mean, I don't want to, like, just say he hasn't got a plan, but I think his plan is to try and find one, if that makes sense, right? Like, what happened here is quite clear, right? Any player who's playing Delhi and sees 3 sacred sites like this and can choose where their starting point is, wants to choose here. But by choosing here, he forfeited so much, and he forgot about how crippling this vision deficiency can be. Luciferon, like, this play maybe works against Lucy if he's on the other side of the map, because the Lombos wouldn't be in his base quick enough, but the timings just don't make sense. And as a result, Salami's just kind of entered headless Raven mode. I mean, he can't even return fish anymore, folks. That's literally where we're at for Salami. Yeah, he needs a new dock. Ooh, they almost went in the waiting arms of the Lombos. I would say, like, Salami should just kind of, like, you can argue that Salami should call this, but think about it from Salami's perspective. He's kind of like, this is his final game, right? He loses here, he's out. Luciferon is 1 game up. You think the placement is fine? Maybe if he's, like, trying to mass Horseman instantly, right? But, like, he didn't instantly go Horseman. Now he's at a stage where he's just trying to recover. I think, like, the issue you can see with this TC is, like, he was a little bit slow to get out on the gold, even slower than Luciferon. And because he went for shoreline fishing, he didn't get Feudal Age. I feel like maybe if Salami had gone for a Feudal Age timing faster, he can compete. But because he was in Dark Age so much longer than Luciferon, there's no unit you can instantly build that would solve your problems, because the Lombos are already there to prevent your primary resource gathering. Lucy. Oh, 1 damage needed, but won't be able to find it. Can go off the fishing boats, though. It's a heavy throwaway by Luciferon, because he could lose a lot of them to the fishing boats, but stays away from the shore demo ship. Oh, man, this is the worst case feeling. Like, he thought he could get the demo ship out when they were starter stepping, but now it just sits here worthless. And Luciferon's confidence has to be surging. That's 160 resources wasted. Fishing eco all but dead. Villagers will at least make their way out, but make their way where? That's 11 villagers not working. He has at least got them back on the woodline at home, but I wouldn't be surprised if Luciferon just gets a second wave of Lombos to come in over the top and haymaker Salami out of this game. Lucy is at least going to be pushed away by the new Bagler. Knows that this many Lombos cannot deal with that. Doesn't really need to. Not yet, anyway. Now we'll just come with a new wave. This explosive Dow, by the way, can just die very quickly to this many Lombos. And even if he runs it away, the second Lombo wave is going to kill him. And the Ram... Lucy's given himself momentum now. So far, it's been raid, and now the Ram's designed to end the game. Villagers being sniped. It's just so problematic. Every time you lose a boat, you need to come further out to get wood. And keep in mind, there's nothing else that he can do at home, right? So if he tries to move east, he's scouted out on every angle. If he tries to move south, Longbows block him out. Salami essentially has deadweight villages at home, or soon to be deadweight, because their sheep count is down to, what, 3? I don't actually know what you do with these villages once you run out of resources underneath your TC. You can see you can't get wood, and you can see you can't run away. You're just essentially at that point, you go from being 12 eco behind to being doubled up on eco. And it turns out the Ram play from Lucy was to get access to the villages that had to come and repair. I mean, Luciferon, if he wasn't attacking the Bagler, he could legit just kill all these villagers right now. Yeah, he realizes it. Salami will try and run away. Salami, who still does not have textiles. At what point does it become worthwhile? 23 workers have died in this game. He at least gets the horseman out. Those horsemen don't really feel that tough against that many lombos. Oh man, Luciferon is just relentless. I love the fact he continues to pocket eco, by the way. This is so underrated as an English player. Full map control has been given to you. You've seen no threat to suggest you will not be able to go out onto the map. So he doesn't hesitate. He admittedly would have benefited a lot from Wheelbarrow with this format, but it's a small inefficiency in the grand scheme of things. This compared to going farms is so much better, and now Luciferon will go for Castle Age. Well, when you look at Salami, I struggle to believe that he's actually even in Feudal Age. I know I can see a Horseman and I can see a Bagger on the screen, but in terms of eco power, you'd think this game almost only just began for him. Salami does at least manage to sneak out while the distractions are happening. But a tough one now. Castle Age coming in over the top like this. Knight's likely to hit the field in the next 2 minutes, and Salami without any clear counter. I don't wonder what he can do. He's at least repairing the injured dot. So can think about going back for more fishing, but honestly, if you go for fishing now, I feel like you're just killing yourself, right? Because it takes a long time to escalate the fishing boat count, and that's it. Tech up comes through. Salami has exhausted all possibilities. There's no way back into this game for him. Luciferon will take the 2-0 and head through to day number 2.